Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Cliff Yates Show. As always, you are in the right place. There is no doubt about that. Forget regret, or life is yours to miss. That was a title I put on a posting a couple days ago, and it was very, very popular, as a matter of fact. Forget regret, or life is yours to miss. And it was really based on the lyrics from a song, No Day But Today, that I first heard circa 1995 in New York City on Broadway. Went to see the show Rent, the original production, around 1995, of Rent. And that song, and the whole show was dealing with, at the time, a creative group in the Alphabet City area of New York City, Manhattan, and they were dealing with heroin addiction and people and their friends dying of AIDS. There's only now. There's only here. Give in to love or live in fear. No other path, no other way, no day but today. Forget regret, or life is yours to miss. And that was what I based that posting on. I titled it that, and then I played the song, and it was very popular on all the platforms that allow me to play the song. But you know what? I think I was wrong. In a way, I was wrong. I'll not say totally. So yeah, forget regret, because we then will miss today in the way we can live now, here, in this moment. But don't forget regret without the lessons that they give us. Every emotion has a purpose. And so we need to look at that before we forget regret. And I only came to this idea, and I always give credit where credit is due. And for some reason in my feed, I had an episode by Mel Robbins. I follow all the Robbins. Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, Les Robbins, and all the Robbins that are in the personal growth, self-improvement field, I follow them. But I love Mel Robbins, and I know a lot of my male friends don't listen to Mel Robbins, but I would encourage you to listen to Mel Robbins. She had on her show a guest, and he was Daniel, and what was his name? Oh, Dan Pink. Dan Pink was the guest. I guess he has a book. I have not read the book, but he did research on regrets. And you know what? I learned a little bit about regret. And now I know why the posting was so popular, because even though we know we should forget regret so that we don't we don't ruin today, but we all have regrets. And I didn't even know there was a world research on regret. And this guy, Dan Pink, he conducted a world research on regret. But I watched the episode, and it just inspired me, motivated me to do this episode based on the posting that I gave, and why it resonated so much with so many people, because we all have regrets, and people know that they harbor those regrets. And let's talk about them. And I took some notes on the episode that I watched, and I do give credit, because some of these ideas I don't copy. I sometimes model. I will take a premise, but I did make some notes and how we can apply the idea of regrets and how they can serve us. And that's why I said I was wrong in a way to say totally forget regret, or life is yours to miss. Well, we're going to forget it after we take the lessons from regret and remembering what regret shows us. A regret clarifies what we value, what we know is important to us, and it points us to how to do better in the future. Regret is one of the most common emotions that human beings have. One of the most common emotions that everybody worldwide in the human being race, we all feel regret. Why does something that makes us feel bad be so commonly experienced by everybody? Everybody experiences regret except kids, young kids, sociopaths, and anybody who has a neurological disease or damage. Regrets can help us if we use it. Don't let them use us. But no one teaches us how to use regrets. What are they good for? We all have them. What do we do with them? We should approach regrets lion-hearted. Lion-hearted, that's the way to approach regret. We need to look at regret. We need to face regret. We need to stare at it. Then it can be transformative. It can help us transform ourselves to a better future. But we have to look at it, stare it, face it down, take the lesson, then move along. I think that's the lesson. Because, deep down we know that all emotions, even when I studied Tony Robbins stuff, all emotions have a purpose or a positive intent if we'll just look for them. But that doesn't mean we're going to wallow and bathe in those emotions. We know how to change our state. And what this Daniel Pink found by talking to people about regret, that it really created some deep conversations. That people were really bottling up these regrets in their minds and their hearts, and they were anxious to talk about them. He was surprised when he was doing the study, the research, and this research is really, it's titled sometimes 26,000 regrets, 314 countries. All these people have common regrets. And like the guy who was writing, Dan Pink, and I know a lot of you, 60 plus, we are on the back nine of life, if you want to use the golf metaphor. We are on the back nine of life. Looking back, we have more looking back than we do going forward. But at the same time, it creates an urgency in us to really live life to its fullest going forward. Even though we have more time looking back, more regrets, it creates a sense of urgency in us to move forward with great meaning and intention in our life forward. We can actually savor every minute of life going forward based on past regrets. Let us take the perspective that we have a lot looking back, but God willing, we have a lot left to go forward to also. I just had dinner last night with one of my island neighbors here in the Thousand Islands, New York. Yeah, Bert Ulrich is right next door. I can say his name. I'm sure he won't be watching the episode. But his two son-in-laws and their two sons, or two of their sons. So they open up the cottage in May before the rest of the family comes, and it's kind of a guys' weekend together. And so they invited me over to dinner. And we had such a great time fellowshipping, but we were kind of all, and it's weird, but wonderful that we were all in different stages of life and sharing moments and ideas and histories on an equal basis, by the way. Even the young guys, one kid is in college, one is a private investigator, late 20s, and then both son-in-laws are in their 60s, but still working. And then Bert, right, the matriarch there, he is 93. I thought he was 95, but he's 93. Still very active, plays golf, 18 holes, 93. So 91, 2 years ago, he had knee replacement. And he always got around good, but he limped a little bit on that one knee. Now he bounds out of that boat like you wouldn't believe. 93. And we just had a great dinner and fellowshipping together, just great conversation and connecting. And I'm glad when I went over, they had a little problem starting the dinner, and it turned out to be a blessing. So we had, like 2 hours that we could just have a nice conversation before we had a nice conversation over dinner too. So it was really a fun evening. But no matter our age, that's what reminded me, just because the different ages of all of us at dinner last night, no matter what our age, as we get older, as we get into our 60s, that group and beyond, the future comes into stark focus. It really does. And because of our past, we can say to ourselves, I want to do what's left better. I know I do. Every day in every way, I want to get better than I was yesterday. I mean, that's the mantra. How many times can I say that? A million? I'm going to continue to say it. It's implanted in my subconscious mind. I want to implant it in yours because it can make a big difference in your life. I like Mel Robbins used a metaphor. It's a great metaphor for regrets that we carry around with us. And she said, open up that suitcase. Don't keep it shut so that we don't look at it. Regrets, don't look at them. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to think about them. No, she says, open up that suitcase. Bring them out. Bring out that regret and look at it. Hold it up to the light. Oh, yeah. What do you got for me? Good. I can take that lesson. Boom. Now throw that away. Pull out the next one. What do you got for me? Throw it away. Pull out the next one. We've been carrying this weight. Open up that suitcase and bring them out. Face them. Look at them. And then get rid of them. Take the lesson with you going forward, but get rid of them. Get that suitcase and make it light, empty. We've been carrying that weight around. We haven't wanted to look at it. Open the damn suitcase. Take everything out one by one. Take the lesson and then throw it away. And now you can picture, right? Can you feel that suitcase? Light as a feather. As a matter of fact, let's upgrade the suitcase to one with wheels on it, modern day, going forward. Let's get on that plane of life. Let's take off above the clouds so we're always in the sun. Let the sun shine on us. Isn't that a great feeling? And knowing that overhead is full of our suitcase that is empty. And now we can embrace our life going forward and we can load it up with some new things, some new glorious things, some exciting things, some life-fulfilling memories. We have an empty suitcase now. We are not carrying the baggage of those regrets. That gets me excited just thinking about it. I hope it does you too. Open up that suitcase. Take them out. Get rid of them. It's a great metaphor to open up that suitcase of regrets. But take them out one by one. See what they have to teach us and then get rid of them. It's a big weight if you keep it hidden. You don't open it up, but you carry it around with you. Now we got that empty suitcase. And now we can travel into our future, gathering new things for our new way of traveling through life and living our best life. Now, the author that she was interviewing, Dan Pink, he was talking about the difference between something we just feel sad about and a regret, because they're not the same thing. When we talk about a regret, we're talking about something we did or didn't do. And so it's very sad because deep down we know it's our fault. Regrets are our fault. Regret, the terrible feeling, it's an emotion. When we look backward and wish we had done something different. We wish we hadn't done something, or wish we had done something in a different way. So there's a difference between something that we were sad about or disappointed as opposed to regret. That is something we can or should and have to acknowledge was our fault. There's a difference between disappointment and something we wish we didn't or did do. We could be on a great business trip or a great pleasure trip. Oh, we got to cut it short. We got to go home because of a terrible storm. That's disappointment. We don't have regret over that. We have no control over the storm. We have no regret over what somebody else does. Somebody left us. We had no control over that. We don't have to have regret over that. Regret is something we should have, could have done or did do that we regret. It's not a disappointment or something we're just sad about. It's something that really we know is our fault. And regret has to have agency. In other words, it's something we did. And that's why I feel so bad, because it's totally our fault. As I was saying, I got ahead of my own notes because I actually took in everything that I heard today, and I wanted to share with you. We got to think of it this way. Regret is a knock at the door. Regret is a knock on your door. Are you just going to sit there in the house doing what you're doing? You hear the knock? No, I'm not answering it. Nope, don't hear it. No. It's a knock on the door. Regret is knocking on the door. Go answer it. Open the door, face it, look at it, talk to it. What do you got for me? What do you have to teach me? Good. I'll take that going forward. Slam the door. You're done. Go back to business. Answer the door, face it, look at it, say to it, what do you have to tell me, regret? Thank you. And then move along. It's time to move on. Yeah, this was a great point. Don't think, if you have regrets, feelings of shame, don't think there's something wrong with you. It's a mistake to think this because everybody has regrets. Regrets don't make you bad, weak, broken. They make you a human being. In the research that Danny Pink did on regrets, one of the biggest surprises that he had was the uniformity of regrets around the world. Different countries, ages, genders. You could put a regret on a piece of paper and you can read it. And you can't tell if it's male, female, young, old, what country it's from. We all experience uniformly the same regrets. And that's what he found in his study. Finding 26,000 regrets. I'm glad I don't have that many. How about you? He did actually a world regrets survey. And his biggest surprise, as I was saying, the similarity in regards to the universality of the regrets. Man or woman, you wouldn't know the difference. Another thing that he found surprising in the study on regrets, people were willing to not be anonymous in sharing their regrets. They provided information to be interviewed in the future with a follow-up. They wanted to unburden themselves with their regrets. They wanted to share their regrets with the researchers. And they were very willing to be not anonymous. They were willing to come forward with their regrets and openly identify themselves and open to further follow-up and interview. I think that's why if you start having a conversation with someone one-on-one about regrets, people are really anxious to unburden those regrets. I'm sure people that do psychotherapy, a lot of times I bet the patients are feeling better as soon as they unburden themselves with the regrets that they've been feeling, feelings of shame and regret. But we have to know the purpose before we get rid of it and move on. Regret is for understanding what we care about and telling us how to do better in the future. You've got to take that down. Write it down. Regret is for understanding what we care about and what and who we love and how we can do better going forward in our future. That's the purpose. It serves a purpose. So don't feel shame or embarrassment that you have regrets. All negative emotions have a purpose, a positive intent. Tony Robbins would say they're there for a reason. We just don't want to ignore them or wallow in them. We want to change. Tony Robbins would say, change your state by changing your physiology, what you're focusing on, what you're saying to yourself. But I'm sure he wouldn't say, don't look at these emotions at all. Don't think they don't have a purpose or positive intent, because they do. We don't like feeling these emotions. We do things to change these emotions, right? Changing our state. I talk about this all the time, how we can get ourselves out of these states. And I think we should. But I don't think we should forget the lessons they have for us. Why make it a waste? We're not supposed to like these feelings, really. We're just supposed to learn from them. That's the thing. We're not supposed to like them. We have feelings for a reason. Lately, when I've been studying for the past year, people who take antidepressants, who are really blunting their emotions with these SSRIs, these selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, is what the class of these drugs are. And people feel better on them because their emotions are, I'm not feeling so depressed anymore. Well, of course, you're not feeling the full range of your emotions. And there's a lot of psychologists, people involved in therapies, and a lot of them say, I can't help somebody who's on antidepressants because there's no way that I can help them with the underlying cause of their feelings because they're covered up. The drugs mask those feelings. A lot of times what we feel, especially depression, sadness, there's a good reason. Something's happened, but it's usually episodic. It's an episode in our life that we have to go through, unfortunately. And that's what I would encourage anybody going through a tough time is remember, you're going through it. We can't really cut the line, even if we have strategies and skills, psychologically. Hey, we know all of these tools that we can put into practice, which are great, but we can't cut the line. Sometimes we're going through things that we have to go through. But you know the saying, if you're going through hell, keep on going, and you're going to get through it. Mel Robbins talked about grief. This is so important. I've been going through some grief. Grief and despair can make us feel so bad. I mean, it can be so debilitating. But it's there to remind us that we love and why we love. We don't want a magic pill. If someone could come up with a magic pill and say, here, take this pill, you'll never feel grief again. I'm not taking it and you're not taking it because we know grief is there to remind us that we love and why we love. We don't want a magic pill to get rid of that. We don't want it. We're not going to take a pill that says we'll never feel grief again. We don't like grief. We don't want to be sad and grieving, but it reminds us of the fact that we love and why we love. Now, of course, we want overwhelmingly to be in positive emotions. These negative emotions serve a purpose. We're not living there, though. As I always say in the past, we're gonna let those emotions come into our head, but they're not staying there. No way. Negative emotions have a purpose. Let's keep them to a minimum. We want overwhelmingly to be always mostly in a bath of positive emotions, love, excitement, growth. We want a decent amount of regret. That's what I didn't know or understand. That's the understanding I came to know. We want a decent amount of regret for what it can teach us. It teaches us what we really care about and how we can go forward in our future better. And it helps us learn. So if you're feeling any regret or shame, you know what? Treat yourself as you would a best friend. Be kind to yourself. I am telling you, and I'm as much telling myself, be kind to yourself. Do not beat yourself up. Treat yourself the way you would your best friend. You wouldn't be cruel to your best friend. Do not beat yourself up for having these kinds of feelings. Just don't wallow in them. Don't not acknowledge and face off on them. Face them. Stare them down. Be lion-hearted. And then move along. Move on. Get the lesson and move on. Regret and feelings of shame, that's not the full measure of our life. It's only a moment in time. It's a scene in the movie of our life. Remember the theater of our mind I talked about? We learned that from the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, the plastic surgeon who found out that people's self-image was the most important thing as to how they went forward in their future. We never outperform our self-image. We got to make our self-image bigger. Create a theater of your mind. Picture that theater. Walk in. Get in that seat. Make sure that's a big screen in front of you because you're creating this movie of your life. You are the director, the producer, the casting director. Do not cast yourself in a supporting role. You are the star of the movie. Yeah, you're going to get knocked down. You know the hero's journey. That's why we like a movie. If we saw a movie and it starts with the hero doing great, and at the end he's doing great, that would be the most we would never watch that movie. But when they get knocked down, they got back up again. They got back, knocked down again. They're never going to make it. They're never going to make it. They got up. That's you. Create the movie, the theater in your mind. Any feelings of regret or shame, take the lessons. It's not an overview of our life. It's a moment in time, a scene in the movie of your life. It's a scene. That's all it is. And so move along. The scene is finished. Moving on. With the acting I did in Los Angeles and Hollywood, I did mostly background work, some small independent films and shows. But in some of the big productions, the movies. Hail Caesar with George Clooney. I did background work, and that was a big production. But, they would film, they film one side of it, and everybody does their lines. Then they turn the cameras around. All right, flip it around. And then they film it from the other side, and then they do maybe a wide shot. So 3 times they're filming this movie. And then the director will say, all right, moving on. In other words, on to the next scene. So moving on, you as the director in your movie, tell yourself, moving on, that scene is over. Moving on. And everybody starts to set up for the next scene. Do that in the movie of your life, and you're going to have a great life. And you're going to thank me for it. Thank you. All right, how about 2 common mistakes with regret? Here they are. Ignoring them or wallowing in them. We're going to take a lesson from our regrets, and then we're going to move along and move away, and we're done with them. But we're not going to commit those 2 common mistakes with regret. Ignoring regret or wallowing. We're not going to ignore a regret, or we're not going to wallow in it. We're going to learn the lesson, and then we're going to move along. I'm going to do it. You're going to do it. We're going to take the lesson. The regret teaches us what we care about and how we can move forward in the best way possible. Another thing that we have to remember about regret and feelings of shame. Hey, we're not that special, people. What, you think because you're feeling regrets, you shouldn't feel it because you're who you are? You're that special? No. Listen, everybody around the world, they experience these things. Oh my goodness! And I just had a quote pop into my head from Soren Kierkegaard. I think it's great. These quotes come into my head. Life is not a problem to solve. It's a reality to experience. I'm glad I remembered that. I had written it on my whiteboard, and I said it a couple of times, but I didn't think I would remember it in a podcast, and it would pop into my head. Soren Kierkegaard said, life is not a problem to be solved. It's a reality to be experienced. Take that into the future. I'm going to do it. Man, that's a great quote. I think I'll remember that now that I wrote it. I looked at it, I said it, and now I remembered it in the future. Page 8 of my notes I took today. I'm so glad you joined me in this podcast. This is awesome. Oh, Mel Robbins was talking about connecting with people. I've done this recently. I'm telling you, I have to encourage you to do it. Sometimes we have regret when we think about, you know what? Oh my God, that person, that was my best friend. That was one of my best friends. We drifted apart. We haven't talked in 5 years. It only takes a second to reconnect. Send that text. Send that video message. You know what? I was thinking about you. Reconnect. It just reminds me of Jerome Clark and Brian Pliska, who are coming out to my island to visit me here August 7th. It's going to be the 6th year they've come to visit me. But we had gone 20 plus years without seeing each other. And actually, we probably went 15 plus years without talking to each other. And you know what? I reconnected with them. They came out to visit me at the island, and we had a great time. And I said, what about it again? Because you have to go to great effort to come here to the island. You got to, Jerome has to fly from California, time difference, expense. I got to pick him up. It's a 2-hour drive from the airport. Brian's coming. He's got his own business, self-employed in Detroit. But know what? They said, hey, no, we want to come back next year. I mean, if you're going to have, what? Let's do it. Now we're at year number 6. Can you imagine? It takes a second to reconnect. You have, and some of these friends that have drifted apart, damn well, you've been there. You've done this where you connect and you realize, holy shit, you know what? We picked up right where we left off. It's like no time has gone by. You have those friends. And sometimes those are the friends that have drifted apart just because of geography. We move away. We have distance from each other. We're not in proximity. But it only takes a second to reconnect. You can reconnect with those people. Pick somebody out, reconnect. You're going to have so much joy in your life because you did it. And don't worry about those thoughts. Oh, I should have done this earlier. Don't spend any time there. You did it. You're going to do it. You're going to reconnect. It's going to be joyful. Spend no time in, I should have done this long ago. Forget it. Go with now. Go with today. Go with how you're connecting right now. And you know what? I'm encouraging you. Take the effort. But that's what happens. Some relationships just drift apart. Various reasons. All we have to do is reach out. When in doubt, reach out. I want you to reach out. And I want you to leave me a comment. If you've done it recently or you're going to do it based on what I tell you, you know what? Give me some feedback on that. Daniel Pink talked about something that I know is very important. And I've adopted it recently. I could do more. I could step up my game and more. You know what? Give a lot of compliments. Compliment people. Catch people doing great things. People being righteous. Catch them and bring it to their attention. Sometimes we think it's going to be awkward. People aren't going to take it well, so we hold back on compliments. It's not awkward, and they're not going to take it badly. They're going to be happy you gave them the compliments. Encourage other people. Have a positive impact on somebody else. Make the effort. They are going to appreciate it. It's not going to be awkward. Do it. Take the action. Let me go to the notes I took on that. Give compliments. We don't give enough because we think it's going to be awkward. We think we're not going to say it right. That people don't care. You know what? It's not awkward, and people do care, and they do appreciate. You know what? As men, my fellow men, yeah, you're going to resonate with this. We think if we text one of our friends, hey, brother, I was thinking about you. We think they're going to think that's awkward. We don't think that we're going to get a positive response from that. But you know what? Every time that I've done it, I've gotten a positive response. It's reinforced that I need to do more of it. Don't regret not doing something sooner. That's what I was saying earlier. Don't think about that. I should have done this sooner. Just do it. Just have done it. There's a Chinese proverb that I love. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. Thank you, everybody. I hope this episode served you in some way on regret, and it'll help you going forward. I hope that you will look at regret for the purpose that it has, to show us what we care about and the lessons that we can take from it and have a better life going forward. And then we're done with the regret. I'll tell you, this episode, studying for it, preparing for it, had an impact on me. So I hope it had an impact on you. And if it did, please like, share, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. You know I love you.